Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back once again. All right. This is Craig, your recovery coach, one and only. All right, my name is Mike, one of your he threw me off, man. He got me. He threw me off. One of your recovery coach at Capital Recovery Center. How y'all doing this afternoon? It's good to be back with you once again, talking about recovery because recovery is so important. And today we're going to be sharing about the 5 rules of recovery. And me and Mike was having a short sleeve conversation. Short sleeve. And it's really not a short sleeve, but we was having a very short conversation. And it was about triggers. Yeah. And I was expressing to him, I said, for me, myself, I focused when I first got into recovery, my whole mentality was that of substance use disorders, to stand away from that. But I didn't realize that there was other triggers that I need to stay away from or address or identify that can trip me up. So, and that's a lot of people, though. That's a lot of people. You look at the substance issue and not realize the other things that can trigger you back to the usage. And it could be if you into clothes or like fashion, or especially a lot of people that who has been deprived of it or removed from those type of luxuries, and now they have the opportunity to gain them back. That can trip you up back into a lot of bad behavior. So be aware of other triggers that can be. Everybody should learn what their triggers are. Actually, it's a good strategy. So, all right, let's get to it. So last week we did. We were talking about, it's on the stream, 5 rules of recovery. So we went through a couple of them. With the first one we went over was change your life so that it's easier not to use. So the rule number 1 is you want to change your life so it's easier not to use. And I gave an example of that is put yourself around different individuals where if you did something outside of the group, like if the whole group function or have a standard and they're living this way, if you surround yourself with that type of people and then you did something that's not familiar with that circle of support network, you gonna stick out. They're gonna be like, man, what you doing? We don't do it. Right. So you changing your life so that it's easier not to use. So that's what you want to do in that one. 2, we talked about number 2. Number 2 was ask for help and develop a recovery circle. We talked about this. This is very important. Everybody needs to have a very good support network. Someone that you can reach out to, and especially when there is an emergency. If you don't feel that you don't have the courage to stand up and speak out, speak to someone and maybe they can give you some encouraging advice how to address issue. All right, so we're going to move on to number 3. Be completely honest with yourself and everyone in your recovery circle. Honesty. You got to be honest. And what that entails is if you are having some type of craving or some type of thoughts or some type of barrier, faced with some type of barrier in your recovery process, be honest. Be honest about it. If you just came from treatment, you lost your job, you feel discouraged, be honest. Don't sit there and act like, oh, everything's fine. You're having a terrible day. They come up to you, how you doing? Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored, right? All that, just be honest about whatever the situation is, all right? So let's go to being completely honest with yourself and everyone. An addiction requires lying. You have to lie about getting your drug, using it, hiding the consequences, and planning your next relapse. An addiction is full of lying. By the time you develop an addiction, lying comes easily to you. After a while, you are so good at lying that you end up lying to yourself. Wow. I heard that before because they say once you tell one lie, you got to keep telling another lie. Keep carrying to make up for the lie you just told. And lies you can carry for years. Yeah, until they become
or sound like the truth.
Yeah. You start out when you were in that addiction area, you started out with a lie and you done carried that lie. The next year comes somebody say, yeah, you remember, when you almost died, you ain't almost died, but now you're like, yeah, now you're carrying it.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, the results of all that lying is that you don't like yourself. You can't look yourself in the mirror. Lying creates a vicious cycle. The more you lie, the less you like yourself,
Mm.
which makes you want to escape your feelings, which leads to more using and more lying. Remember, we're talking about being completely honest. It's on the screen. We got to be completely honest with yourself and everyone in your recovery circle. Again, it's important about your honesty, not just overall in your life, but your recovery circle. The people you want to have in your recovery circle, you should be able to be honest with them, or you shouldn't have them in your circle. Clear, like if you can't be honest with the people in your circle, those people you should remove them out of your circle.
Yeah, because a lot of times I know when I was in my addiction state, taking shortcuts cuts was the route for me, and that was because I was trying not to do the work or the hard work that's necessary to be done. And so, therefore, I would be very manipulative, cunning, baffling in my decision making. So, be mindful. With this, you have to do the work.
Yeah.
You have to do the hard work. Nothing comes easy.
Nothing. All right, so nothing changes if nothing changes. Ask yourself, will more lying, more isolating, or more of the same make you feel better? The expression in AA is nothing changes if nothing changes. If you don't change your life, then why would this time be any different? You need to create a new life where it's easier not to use. We talked about that in Rule 1. So recovery requires complete honesty. You must be 100% honest with the people in your recovery circle. If you can't be completely honest with them, you won't do well in recovery. Because remember, I told you, this circle you created. You put the people in the circle who you believe you needed. You don't want all yes men in there, yes women. You want to have people who say, man, that's wrong, man. You shouldn't do that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But if you can't be completely honest with them, the people in your circle, you might have to change that circle because that's your support. When you're completely honest, you don't give your addiction room to hide. Tell on it. That's one of my favorite things. When you lie, you leave the door open to relapse. When you lie, you leave the door open for relapse. One mistake people make in early stages of recovery is they think that honesty means being honest about other people. They think they should share what's wrong with other people. But recovery isn't about fixing other people, it's about fixing yourself. Stick with your own recovery. Focusing on what you don't like about others is easy because it deflects attention from yourself. You gotta try. That's why honesty here is complete honesty is important.
They call that shifting the blame.
Yeah.
No, ain't nothing wrong with me. And then, when we in therapeutic community, they used to tell us to keep the focus on the I, the self, because a lot of times we try to deviate from our own shortcomings, and we try to include or incorporate others.
Yeah.
Shifting the blame. No, it ain't my. I only smoke reefer. So I ain't use heroin. I only smoke reefer, so I'm not a junkie. I'm not as bad as
shifting.
Yeah, and so my supervisor said, you know what? There's no different. No matter how you consume it or what you consume, whether you're sniffing it, injecting it, or smoking it, it's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same.
You're consuming it, so there's no big eyes to use.
Honesty won't come naturally in the beginning, so don't get discouraged. You spent so much time learning how to lie that telling the truth, no matter how good it is for you, won't feel natural. You'll have to practice telling the truth a few hundred times before it becomes a little easier. Man, that's tough. Practice telling the truth. Remember, you coming out of an addictive lifestyle that consisted of all types of lies. All right? It says you have to practice telling the truth a few hundred times before it becomes a little easier. In the beginning, you'll have to stop yourself as you're telling a story and say, now that I think of it, it was more like this. So when you have started the process of your change, going from lying to telling the truth, and the conversation to come up, it will, about things that you probably previously was lying about, right? So when it comes up, instead of you panicking and don't want to feel like a fool, say, you know what, now that I think about it, it was more this way, where you can correct the lie. You can like, nah, actually, it was more this way. So that sounds better, or it takes a lot of the pressure away. All right. So that's rule number 3. Let's look at rule number 4.
Rule number 4, practice self-care.
Ooh, this is thing, man. This is
Self-care, very important. No matter whether you're in the field, or you are someone who's mistreating substances. There are only a few reasons why people use drugs and alcohol. Let's talk about it. They use to escape, relax, and reward themselves. In other words, people use drugs and alcohol as a form of self-care and self-medication. Wow. So people oftentimes use drugs for, they said, to relax, to escape, and to reward themselves.
Relax. So just think all the situations people do to try to reward themselves, or most of the time, people do things to try to reward themselves in the area of substance all the time. It's like 100%. They do it for a reason. All right.
And so it says recovery doesn't mean denying yourself ways to escape, relax, or reward yourself. It means finding better ways to do those things. If you don't find better ways to take care of yourself, you will eventually feel irritable, exhausted, and discontent. If you have those feelings for too long, you will begin to think about using just to escape.
Wow, yeah, because if you don't find better ways, it's learning new ways to deal with it's coping skills, really.
Healthy behavior.
Healthy behavior. Good word, man. That's that cow. Healthy behavior. Learning a healthier way to deal with situations that you face. And the reason why that's very important I believe is very important, is because we all face different situations in our lives. It's not like when I stopped using the substance that I used to use, that I wasn't presented with difficult situations. I just learned healthier ways to deal with the situations that I was facing. Because they still came to me. I still had stressful situations. I still had financial difficulties. I still had problems with my children. So they were still there. But before, when I had those problems, I would go use some substances, which didn't take away the problem, but that's what I ran to. But those problems, after I got clean, were still there.
Yeah, those ways to escape, relax, or reward, or self-medicate.
There you go.
All of them, all wrapped up in one. It says self-care may sound selfish. After all, who has time to escape, relax, and reward themselves? But that is exactly what people do when they turn to their addiction. Self-care is essential for mental well-being. If you don't consciously make time for self-care, you will unconsciously make time for it by using.
Oh, wow.
Ain't that something?
Wow. So you don't take time.
Yeah, because a lot of times people become bored, frustrated. The article may mention about being irritable. So you have to channel all of that energy, or divert that energy into doing something else, right? And so self-care doesn't have to be fancy trips or frivolous shopping. It begins with healthy eating and sleeping habits. Develop better sleep habits so that you're less tired. Eat a healthier lunch so you're not as hungry at the time of the day, at the end of the day, excuse me. Learn how to relax so that you are not filled with fears and resentments. These are some of the components of HALT mentioned earlier.
Hungry, angry, lonely, and tired.
Oh.
All right.
Who that?
Huh?
Anybody
Somebody logged on.
somebody hit us on Facebook?
All right. Let's see. Now, what we at? Number 5. No, I'm sorry. Go. There's more, right? There's more meat on that bone.
That's more meat, mind, body relaxation.
Skin that bone up, man.
We're gonna hit you with a little gravy.
All right.
Mind, body relaxation. When you're tense, you tend to do what's familiar and wrong instead of what's new and right. When you're tense, you're not open to change. The evidence is overwhelming that various forms of mind-body relaxation, yoga, mindfulness, meditation, are effective in reducing the use of drugs and alcohol. Mind-body relaxation has also been shown to prevent relapse. The first rule of recovery is that you must change your life. But what do you need to change? If people use drugs and alcohol to relieve tension, then learning to relax is one of the most important skills if you want to change your life. If you manage to stop using but don't learn how to relax, your tension will build and build until you'll have to relapse to just escape. Tension is the most common cause of relapse. There is only one reason why people don't relax because they think they're too busy to relax.
Wow.
It goes something like this. I know it makes sense, but I got so many other things
I have to do. Take time to relax. Relax. What's up, Mr. Juan? He said it's a great day to be clean.
Wow.
Love you guys. Thank you for all the help and giving back. You're welcome, sir. Thank you for all that you do as well. Thank you for the encouraging words, Mr. Juan.
Yes, thank you for being consistent, man, and
Dedicated.
appreciate you, man, for all that you do. Do us a favor, share, like, and subscribe. Let a friend know that we're on at 2.
And they can attend this meeting in person.
Yep.
And all the meetings.
Absolutely.
But I like the part when you were saying this is the only one reason why people don't relax, because they think they're too busy to relax.
Mm-hmm.
Relaxing is a great thing to do. Just because sometimes, you know, when you wake up, you always have something to do, right? It's not a lot when you wake up in the morning and you sit there and say, I ain't nothing. No. Whatever I do today, I'm just gonna be doing it. Like I don't have anything planned. Like it's just nothing to do. I don't have anything.
Nothing stressful.
Nothing stressful. Nothing like I'm what you doing today? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm just relaxing, and I think I did that the other day, Saturday. I want to say Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up and watched television. I looked outside, sat back down.
Looked at
my wife looked at me. She looked out there. She said, "If he'll go out there, do I'm definitely." So she said, "It's okay." I said, "Man, next thing I know, it's 8:00 at night." I said, "Man, I ain't go nowhere." I stayed in all day. I ain't had nothing to do. No response. I relaxed. I self-care. A couple times I sat there. I drifted off like a power nap. Got up, watched more TV, ate something, went back to sleep. I was just relaxing. But that's why it says this is the only reason why people don't relax, because they think they're too busy to relax.
Mm-hmm.
Too busy. Busy does not equal effectiveness. You can be busy, but are you effective in what you're doing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
So it says, ask yourself, how much time did you spend on your addiction?
Woo!
If you add up all the time it took you to get your drug, use it, deal with its consequences, and plan your next relapse, you'll realize that relaxing for 20 to 40 minutes a day is a bar.
Wow.
Relaxation is not an optional part of recovery. It's essential to recovery. Let me read that again for all those who may thought I read that a little too fast. I don't want to mutter out of them stutter, but it says relaxation is not an optional part of recovery. It's essential to recovery. Mm-hmm. There are many ways to relax. They range from simple techniques like going for a walk to more structured techniques like mindfulness and meditation.
That's good stuff, man.
Absolutely.
Real good stuff. Let's see what we got here. Number 5. Let's bring it on in. Don't bend the rules or try to negotiate your recovery.
Hey, that's major.
Bending the rules is lowering the standard. When you, my mentor taught me, he says, there's a particular standard that's set. Now, you got to live up to that standard. Don't lower the standard and then try to act like, oh, no, I can't do it because you lowered the standard. You actually can do it. Your addiction has given you the opportunity to change your life. Changing your life is what makes recovery both difficult and rewarding. Recovery is difficult because you have to change your life. And all change is difficult. Every area. This is not something that only people who struggle with a substance use disorder have. Everybody in life, ask the person who tried to go on a diet. It changes just difficult, man.
Yeah.
When you got a normal routine and then you have to change it, it's difficult. Even good change. Recovery is rewarding because you get the chance to change your life. Most people sleepwalk through life. They don't think about who they are or what they want to be. And then one day they wake up and wonder why they aren't happy.
Purpose.
I was about to say
Purpose. I thought of you when you were reading that.
Purpose, man. You get up like, what am I here for? Like, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? What? It gotta be something. You know, it has to be something instead of just existing. Your addiction has given you an opportunity, and if you use this opportunity correctly, maximize every opportunity you get. You'll look back on your addiction as one of the best things that you ever happened to you. People in recovery often describe themselves as grateful addicts. Why would someone be grateful to have an addiction? Because their addiction helped them find an inner peace and tranquility that most people crave. Recovery can help you change your life. When you find that reason why you are living and existing, it's over. Relapse is rare after 5 years of abstinence. A study found young adolescent men with alcohol addiction who were in recovery. Some were Harvard University undergrads, some were non-delinquent inner city adolescents. The men would follow every 2 years by a questionnaire and every 5 years by physical examination until the age of 60. That's nice. The study concluded that after 5 years, abstinence, relapse is rare. 12, recovery is possible. Use this opportunity. Don't resent your addiction. Don't try to negotiate your recovery. Embrace your recovery, and you will be happier. Don't try to bend the rules. If the recovery coach here at Capital Recovery Center, we do recovery management plan, and we find out what's the greatest needs or the most important things you want to deal with. We ask them questions like, are you familiar with the acronym SMART? We ask them, what level of support do they have? What's their highest thing that's most difficult thing for them to deal with at this time? And when we talk about all those things with them, we want to also inform them not to bend the rules. The recovery coach help you prepare a goal. Thank you. Help you to prepare a goal. One of the things that I'm about to go over with is helping the peer recoveries that we're working with prepare goals. Because a lot of times they just winging it, and they need the coaches to help them prepare goals. And that's why if I ever see somebody and they're on the computer, I always make the statement, what's the goal for the day? Like, what's the goal? Like, what we doing? Are we just watching videos? Are we doing something online, a resume? What's the goal? And I do that by design because everybody should have a goal to go after.
So we as recovery coach also have to model that behavior because a lot of times when you think someone is not watching, they are. So we have to live by what we say because ethics is very important.
Yeah.
So
today, go ahead.
No, we just want to share that with you. And
so today we went over the second part of the 5 rules of recovery. You can watch the previous video that we did last week on our YouTube page or our Facebook page at Capital Recovery Center. And we will see you live at 5. Live at 5.
Take care.